T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Yeah, we're on the air. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to this November 11th edition of the RP Show. Remembrance Day in Canada, Veterans Day in the U.S. Shout out to the servicemen and women who serve and who have served protecting our freedom. RP here, Scruffy here, wherever you are tuned in. The farmers in the field, which they're probably not today. The ships at sea. Thanks for making this part of your day. Yeah, it's a very big day in Canada football-wise. It always is when hockey's being played. Dave Petrishen, the sports doctor, is going to be joining us from Winnipeg coming up in hour 2 to preview the Grey Cup. You're on, Scruffy. You're on, Scruffy. How? Oh, you got your rider gear on. I don't even want to tell you what this Rudy Poop, what this numpty wrote into my Facebook about yesterday, me wearing rider gear yesterday. I had to go blocker. I had to go blocker. But it looks like you're in the Grey Cup spirit, Scruffy. Would I be right?
You know what? I had to go and find a piece of clothing with the logo on it because I don't have much. Surprisingly
well,
enough, I don't have much. I have a t-shirt that I couldn't find and this.
Well, it looks fantastic. You're looking good. Let's get going. It's the most important time of the year in Canadian football, so we're opening here on Game Plus Television with that. Trust me, we'll get to the hockey because it is Canada after all, but Grey Cup 112 festivities are well underway in Winnipeg. Players and coaches from the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Montreal Alouettes will meet with the media today at the CFL's Grey Cup Festival in Winnipeg. The West Division champion Roughriders will play the East Division champion Alouettes in Sunday's 112th Grey Cup at Princess Auto Stadium in the Manitoba capital. I'm seeing some of the coverage, Mitch. I'm enjoying it. I guess the teams, I think, got in yesterday. I think with them moving the division finals up to Saturday, it gives them an extra day of travel. I broadcast 4 Grey Cups, been to 4 with my teams. We didn't get in until the Tuesday. It feels like everything's pushed up, and I like it. I feel like the country, those that are traveling, are there early. It feels like a bigger deal than years past. Or is it just me?
Yeah, I was thinking that last night when they left. I always thought too, like you, that the teams usually got in Tuesday, and then the coaches' news conference was Wednesday, and then we went from there. But yeah, it seems like they've moved things up a day. I didn't take a look at the Grey Cup schedule for events because I don't really need to, and the only event I care about, being here in Regina, is Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. So. But yeah, it does appear as if they've changed things up just a little. Of course, one event not going on is Stuart Johnston talking to the fans, and I think that's a mistake considering what he did earlier this year.
Well, listen, everybody, gather around, get cozy, because that's what we're doing. We're opening the big story with the Grey Cup here for the CFL fans. We'll get to everything else a little later on. We're in the opening segment, so we don't have a ton of time, but I'll tell the viewers that the Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, or you can write in on the YouTube chat. Again, we're live on Game Plus Television across Canada. Hour 2, we stay on Game Plus, but go across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. So I don't know what the coverage you've seen. I've got the CFL has been sending me things to post, interviews, photos, transcripts, all the rest. So I've been enjoying the coverage. I'm a fan like you. I'm not in the front lines. I don't want to be. If I wanted to be there, I would be there. I'm okay just doing what we do here. Mitch, as you say, sitting at home, talking about the game, previewing it. Corey Mace the head coach of Saskatchewan, seems very comfortable, very calm. He's been to this before as a player. He's been to this as a coach. Same story with Montreal on their side with Jason Maas and them. The quarterback for Montreal, as he was popping around at the podium, he looked like a UFC fighter. This Davis Alexander, he exudes enthusiasm. That's the story, right? Davis Alexander versus the Riders. That's the story of this game. To me, it is.
You know what the story of this game to me is, Rod? And I hate to throw this at you.
What?
This is a revenge game for 09 and 10.
Ooh. Okay. I don't feel that way.
That's what the storyline to me is the Saskatchewan Roughriders avenging the ghosts of what happened in 2009 and 2010. And we know at that time there was no better rivalry in the CFL than the Alouettes and the Riders. And let's see it play out again in Winnipeg.
Okay, well, it didn't take long. It took Scruffy 5 minutes to start dropping the scruff takes. Psst. I don't see it. You and I, it's amazing we get along as well as we do because we don't see things that similarly. I can tell you, if you go tell Darian Durant, or if we're able to hold a seance and talk to Ken Miller, if the Riders win on Sunday, that ain't avenging anything. Go ask Kavis Reed. Okay, that's my take. You're telling me it's bigger than that?
I speak for the fans when I say that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I was there. I was in the booth. I felt the raw emotion, and I don't feel that is a thing. That would be a pretty good poll question, though, by the way. Is this revenge for 09? Wouldn't that be a great poll question? Maybe I'll put it up on Instagram. Is this revenge a revenge game for 09-10? Because frankly, in no way, shape, or form do I think that it is, because we count championships. And when you blow it like they did in 09, and 2010 was not as painful, but they're still painful. Have I convinced you that it's not? Probably not. You still think this is a revenge game for the Rough Riders?
Yeah, no, I think the Riders want to win this one. More so than when they win against a Hamilton or an Ottawa or a Toronto. I think that beating a Montreal team after what happened in 09 and 10. What? And I know you and I talked about it in 13, about Hamilton and how the only way maybe this would have been better had it been Montreal. But
I don't recall that conversation, but that's okay. Yeah. Well, Trevor Harris doesn't give a rat's ass about the 13th man. He's out there going to win for himself. I do want to say bravo.
Is this it for
CFL.
Trevor Harris if they win?
No. Just like it wasn't
I don't think it is either.
it for Zach Caleros after a string of. Yeah, no. These guys, Mitch, need to be dragged off the field, kicking and screaming. Very, very few leave on their own accord, and I don't think that'll be the case for Trevor Harris. And what is he, 39 now? So I do want to say this, bravo to the CFL. They dug up a photo, I don't know if you saw it, they posted it to their Twitter, of Corey May sacking Jason Maas, Corey of the Calgary Stampeders at the time.
I did see
of
that.
The Edmonton Eskimos. Yeah, and it was like, so we meet again. And I was like, ooh, well done. Well done, CFL. I like that. Okay, We're just getting going. Scruffy says this is a revenge game. I don't agree. That shouldn't shock anybody. We're going to take a timeout and continue. We've got NFL, NHL, NBA to get to, and a whole lot more. We'll be back. You are watching across the Game Plus television network, YouTube Live, podcast at 1700 AM Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, welcome aboard, everybody. It is the RP Show on this Tuesday, November the 11th. I see some people checking in here. David, number 1 from Winnipeg, he says, I'm watching on Game Plus today. Just finished observing Remembrance Day ceremony. Thank you to those who served for their sacrifices for our freedoms. I'll pass along quite a few of those. Scruffy, if you just joined us, has dropped the bold hot take already. Marcel writes in, he says, we don't have DeLoreans to go back and change the past, so don't live in the past. It's 2025. Live in the now. He says it's not about the 13th man and avenging blowing the Grey Cup in Calgary at McMahon Stadium. Wayne's watching in BC, and he says, I normally love Scruffy's takes, but I just believe in Corey Mace and his coaching staff. I don't think revenge from that far back is a thing. Listen, you don't have to agree with Scruffy, okay? I don't. Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, hi, Reverend Rod and Saint Scruffy. He says, hi, Reverend Rod and Saint Scruffy. To go on Scruffy's revenge theme, does Moss want to beat the Riders due to the way it ended for him as offensive coordinator in Riderville, or has that meat been beat already? I'm just throwing that out.
That's a good point. Very good point. And as I said, when I say this about 09 and 10, I don't know how many people were still involved with the Saskatchewan Roughriders that are involved now. I say as a fan base, this team wants to beat the Alouettes after what happened in 09 and 10. Maybe more so than any other Eastern team.
Okay. Paul is watching in Winnipeg, writes in on the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-3033. Says, Rod, everyone thinks the Riders will win. Davis Alexander is 13-0. Yeah. You're acting like I don't know these things. Everybody outside the 514 area code, I think Mitch expects Saskatchewan to win. That's the Montreal area code last I checked, 514. I think everybody thinks that. They are Canada's team, or are they still? Are they still Canada's team?
I don't know if everybody outside of the Quebec region is picking the Riders. This is going to be a very good football game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring football game. I don't know what the over-under is right at this moment. I do know that Montreal is a 3.5-point underdog. And as I said yesterday, I would take the Alouettes to cover because I think this could be a field goal game. But I don't think it's a slam dunk that the Riders are going to win this game. But should they be favored? Absolutely they should be. I like the 3.5-point spread because it makes you go, if it goes to 2.5, I take the Riders to cover. At 3.5, I'm going to put money down on Montreal.
By the way, we'll come back on this. I don't want to get hung up. This is the Quick Six Show topics. It's the warm-up, and we have other things. We'll address Grey Cup a little later on. Again, probably quite shortly, but I just want to point out, point two, Brad Marchand had a goal and an assist, and the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers beat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 Monday in what viewers said was the game of the night last night. In Edmonton, Jack Roslovic scored 56 seconds into overtime to lead the Edmonton Oilers to a 5-4 come-from-behind win over the visiting Columbus Blue Jackets on Monday. Connor McDavid and Jake Wallman each scored twice for the Oilers. The one goal by McDavid is highlight of the night on both sides of the border, Mitch. But can I say this, as you are my resident Oilers fan, is it not exhausting to be an Oilers fan? From one night, 9-1 loss, blow it up, everybody sucks, to, oh my God, they went in overtime. All of a sudden, everything is great again. Like, oh my God, pick one. I'm exhausted watching Oilers fans. I really am.
You know what? The win last night was a win that the Edmonton Oilers needed after what happened against Colorado on Saturday. Did that win expose or cover up any of the warts this team has? No, it didn't. Evan Bouchard benched in the first period for good reason. Darnell Nurse, again, horrible. Connor McDavid took the team on his back, scored 2 goals. The second one, you know, at what point, I put it on Twitter today, like, he just makes the extraordinary look normal. And I felt bad for ex-Moose Jaw Warrior Denton Matejchuk because he's the guy that got burned on that one. Edmonton wins the hockey game, but there's thought now, like, is this what they need to get them over the top and get going? Well, we'll see Thursday in Philadelphia, but that win to me last night, like, they looked bad for 2 periods last night.
Yeah, it's just exhausting. More than I think any other fan base. Which, by the way, that's foreshadowing something. No, hang on. We'll come back. I'm moving on. Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon brings you our picks. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. We're moving on to point 3 of the Quick Six Showhorn. Jalen Hurts threw a 36-yard pass to Devonta Smith for Philadelphia's only touchdown as the Eagles' defense led the way to a 10-7 NFL victory over the host Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. The Packers have now lost 2 in a row at home. At one time, I think a lot of us thought they were the number 1 team in the NFL. I've got Dean Tix, who watched in Green Bay every day this show. He says Matt LaFleur should be on the hot seat, the head coach of the Packers. I mean, every fan base is nuts right now. Matt LaFleur is not on the hot seat, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, unless I'm missing something.
He is with the fan base, but there's no way that they're getting rid of him. It's the same with Buffalo. People want Sean McDermott let go. Buffalo Bills aren't going to fire Sean McDermott. Come on, people.
No. Not even a hope. No. So reminding me of all that. So how much of the Monday night game, if any, did you watch? I assumed you watched some, or were you busy watching the Oilers? If so, you were forgiven.
I tried to switch back and forth between the hockey game and the football game, the Oilers game. But the football game was just so bad. Like, eventually it just got to the point, like, yeah, I'm just going to turn it over here. And then the intermission would hit, and it's like, oh, it's coming up to halftime. Okay. But, yeah, like, that was just not good football last night.
You were watching the same broadcast I was, Monday Night Football, and they had the graphic. You probably saw the teams were running off the field into the locker room at halftime. Said last scoreless tie at halftime on Monday Night Football was 2009. I'm like, okay, click. But anyways, Mike Florio was talking this morning on Pro Football Talk and NBC Sports Radio about how the Packers fans never booed their team last night, despite the fact that they probably should have. You know, there was only 1 touchdown in the game scored, and it wasn't by Green Bay. And he was just saying Packer fans never booed. And last week I was saying, hey, do you ever recall Montreal Canadiens fans booing their team? Somebody went to AI, ChatGPT, and found out, yeah, just a few years ago they did. But it's not really a thing in Montreal to boo the Canadiens. So it's my poll question today, Mitch, for EMJ Marketing. Who really has the best fan base in sports? I know that this is very, very, very subjective. But the teams they came up with were Green Bay, because we're talking about it. Listen, you know where this is going. You know, you can already tell.
Yeah,
I said Green Bay, the Montreal Canadiens, who I believe do have the best fan base in the NHL. I just said the Oilers are too exhausting fans. New York Yankees, because I thought, who's better in baseball? I said Yankees fans. That may not be right, but that was the first name that popped in my thought. Or other. And you can throw your beloved Rough Riders in there, or fans of any teams if you want, and the Bombers, and they sold out the season, whatever. I I'm going to vote for Montreal as the best fan base. That's me. Other is leading the poll with 50%. But do you want some time to think about it, or who do you immediately think is the best fan base in sports?
Oh, that's a great question. Can I throw some college football crowds in there? Because there are
Sure.
a lot of passionate college football crowds. Like, I think of Tennessee.
Who?
I think of Michigan. I think of USC. There's a lot of great fan bases out there. You know what? And there are even teams, like, I'll give a lot of credit to the Cleveland Browns. That team is crappy year in, year out, but they're selling out games. And, like, that's got to be given something for them. Like, because why would you want to go see that team? Why would you want to invest money in that team? But people keep showing up. So you got to put a team like that into the equation.
Sure. And on cue, Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, the biggest Browns fan I know, and I know a few, but Tony from Cochrane is a Browns fan. He writes in, he says, whatever time zone you're on, he just wrote in. He says, on the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month, we shall remember. Tony is that guy because he quite routinely comes, not when you're on, but he complains about his Browns. I'm like, well, cheer for somebody else then. But he doesn't, because I know, true fans don't give up on their team. But Mitch makes a really good point. Cleveland should be in the conversation because they've never won anything and they still sell out. That's a really good point. But here's another one. You say college? Hey, what we love about this show is we're a little bit all over the place. Actually, we're a lot all over the place. But what about this talk of Brian Kelly suing LSU, wanting the full $50 million of his buyout, fired as coaches of the Tigers last week in big-time college football, SEC? Can I just throw it out to you? Because LSU said, hey, we'll give you a portion of it. And he's like, no, you're going to give me it all. Where do you land on that?
Makes me wonder what Brian Kelly's coaching future is, because if Brian Kelly just takes part of the buyout, so be it. He can probably go to another Division I powerhouse with big money and move on. But I just wonder if Brian Kelly's people are telling him, yeah, you're not a guy on people's radar anymore. Like, they don't want you at Penn State. They don't want you at UCLA. So you better get what you can here, because unless there's a pro job coming, and there could be, because I heard Brian Kelly's name mentioned around the New York Giants this morning, and I'd be shocked if that happened. But maybe Brian Kelly's no longer the flavor of the week in the NCAA, and he's been told to get as much as he can.
Well, let me tell you something. You should come down and visit me sometime, Mitch, in South Florida, because it's all football all the time. And I'm around the high school guys, the college guys, the NFL guys, and they're all friends. And that's the talk, is these buyouts, and they're all dying to get a big-time college job, because guess what? Even if you get fired, you're going to get a big check and you never have to work again, right? And I guess the reason I threw this out to you and the viewers is, should Brian Kelly expect to get the $50 million he's owed? Why wouldn't he expect to get the $50 million that he's owed? And my God, don't get me triggered on being fired and then your employer trying to screw you. We've both been through it.
That's never happened to us, Rod. Shame on you.
Right. So the point is, why shouldn't he get everything that he's owed? Now, did LSU err? Are there some pissed off boosters at LSU or some of these other places, Florida, for the money just flushed down the toilet? Yeah, but the coach shouldn't have to answer for that. Am I right or not?
Roddy, you're closer to NCAA football than I am, and I don't know how hard you get into the University of Miami and other schools down there, but I just seem to think that NCAA Division I football, especially in conferences like the Big Ten, the SEC, are an animal that we know very little about.
In Canada, yeah. But I mean, I was just on the sidelines at the FAU game on Saturday. My point is, the money is obscene. Nobody's
right, but I just don't know
guys.
if we realize how big of a business it is compared to some of the other leagues. But that's what I'm saying.
I don't care if it's the LSU Tigers or the hardware store on the corner. A contract's a contract is how I feel.
Right.
And I'm just asking how people feel about Brian Kelly suing the school for his full $50 million. So anyway, it's chaos. Now's not the time I wanted to talk. It's my bad. I went down this road. It's on me. But it's what all the football people are talking about here is the buyouts. And can you believe what this guy got? Hey, look, nobody's talking about Ken Austin maybe as the next coach of the Argos. He's going to be shown the door at Auburn because his boss Hugh Freeze got fired. It's what I hate. I love the in-season stuff in sports. I hate NHL free agency. I hate the coaching carousel in the summer in hockey. I hate now the transfer portal in college football because can we just focus on the games? And again, this is on me. And when I said, what's the best fan base? It's got everybody writing in. Utah Darren writes in. He says, Pittsburgh Steelers fans travel to watch the Steelers. They had more fans in L.A. on Sunday night than the Chargers had at home. Oh, I agree. There are Steelers fans all over the place. I just threw out some names. So I'm not saying the 4 that I came up with or the 3 and other are right. But we'll continue this when we come back with Mitchell. Mitchell. We'll be right back. The Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at zasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We do it every day. The Junior Hockey Report here in Hour 1, brought to you by the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw. Brandon Wheat Kings forward Luke Misselbacher has been named WHL Player of the Week. Misselbacher, a 20-year-old product of Steinbach, Manitoba, tallied 9 points and a +7 rating in 3 games as the Wheat Kings went 2-1 this past week. Michael Orsilek's been named the WHL Goalie of the Week. Orsilek, an 18-year-old from Czechia, went 2-0 with a 1.50 GAA and a .940 save percentage this past week, helping the Raiders claim 2 wins as they embarked on a lengthy roadie through the WHL's U.S. division. For the latest on the dub, go to rodpeterson.com right now. We have our 10 WHL things up, as lovingly written by Glenn Erickson from Medicine Hat. Oh, and by the way, Mitch, as I went through the text line here, 902-518-3033, Tony from Saskatoon writes in, he says, "Good morning, Rod and Mitch. I'm a day late for this. My apologies, but big congratulations to the Huskies on their handicap victory. Hilltops for winning their 24th Canadian Bowl championship. Lots of pride in Saskatoon right now. Go Riders." Tony from Saskatoon. But a lady in Swift, Rhonda, wrote in about the 2 Cleveland Guardians being disciplined for their role now in the latest betting scandal on baseball. You and I never even got to it yesterday. And I said, well, what do you think about it? And she's like, well, how dumb can they be? And I said, they're young men. Young men do dumb things. And is this where we're at, Mitch, that it's 1 strike and you're out, beheaded, sort of like whatever country it is, if you steal, you get your hands cut off? Do you think they'll ever walk back this harsh punishment, or the league's just getting started? It's pretty wild. I've never talked to you about it.
They're done, as far as I'm concerned. They're done. And I know you and I know I took a lot of heat for it. George Springer should have been done, along with the Houston Astros from the garbage can scandal. We're seeing more and more of this. I don't know why these guys did this, because the money that they're making and that they've thrown away was far more than what they were getting for doing this. So I don't know, I've had some people say, like, is this because of their heritage and drug cartels and something? I don't know, and we may never know the answer to that. But it's just interesting to see where this is going. And I heard this morning now there's a big soccer scandal in Europe about fixing games. And I found out about that just about 2 minutes before we came on, so I haven't gotten the gist of that yet. But this is becoming an issue that leagues really need to clamp down on. And sadly, Roddy, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg on this right now.
Well, I would say, yeah, like when people say, where's it going? Or when I say to myself, where is this going? They need to figure it out. No, they've talked about it. And it's, if you are a player or a coach and you screw around with betting, you're done. End of story. And I'm like, I was talking to my sponsor, Bob, this morning. He's like, Rod, they have to do that. There can be no second chances or guys are going to do it. And I'm like, okay. Listen, it is Grey Cup week. I got people right. No, we're not going. And that's fine. For whatever, I may be at Grey Cup next year. I don't know. I was there last year. I'm not going this year. I'm announcing for the Chiefs this week, as a matter of fact. Shout out Coach DeBuck, who I think is now watching. But we'll be giving Grey Cup coverage as the week goes along more and more and more. Mike Abu-Meshrick's coming on Thursday. That should be fun. Jim Barker, the usual crew, Scruffy. But for those that tuned in late, Mitch says this is a revenge game for Saskatchewan losing to Montreal in 09 and 10. I disagree, but that's fine. Doesn't make me right and him wrong, or vice versa. But Ken in Mississauga writes in regarding personal issues here. He goes, didn't Darnell Sankey, Montreal linebacker, end up in the XFL because the Riders wouldn't give him the money he wanted? If you really want to get into all of the petty little, everybody could find a reason to be pissed off. I mean, Willie Jefferson went to Winnipeg because the Riders lowballed him. Jeremy O'Day lowballed him in an offer. If the Riders win on Sunday, every dirty business dealing like the Sankey thing or Willie Jefferson or whatever, that all goes away because the Riders would be vindicated in all of what they did football-wise. But I don't... Is Sankey going into the game Sunday holding a chip on his shoulder? I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Remember that. I think Darnell Sankey went to the XFL because he knew he could get more money than he could in the CFL, like any other player. I think he probably said to the Riders, hey, I want this. And the Riders went, yeah, okay. We're not giving you that because the CFL can compete with the XFL and the NFL when it comes to salaries. I could be wrong, but I believe that Darnell Sankey just was another one of those guys that said, you know what, I'm going to go and make more money in the States. And ended up coming back.
I think at the time he was pretty vocal about that he wasn't happy with the offer from Sask. So I'm going to the XFL. But
okay.
I mean, I haven't thought about it, and I don't want to think about it anymore. The guy makes a great point. Can I miss a sure, but I mean, I don't know that Jason Maas, that would be a far more fresh wound, the head coach of Montreal going up against Sask, the team that fired him. But I never even thought about that as a storyline. But again, that's looking forward, not back. And listen, there's a lady, I didn't want to say this. Oh, go ahead. You cut me off, and I'm glad you did. That's God's sign I wasn't to say it.
I hope somebody asked Jason Maas that question during the coaches' news conference. This game would be a lot more salacious if Cody Fajardo was the Alouettes quarterback like he was a couple of years ago instead of Davis Alexander, but we won't go there. But can you imagine the buzz around this game if it was Maas and Fajardo going up against the team that basically jettisoned them?
That would be a bigger deal, yes. But I mean, again, the way I look at things is a lot different than the way pretty much everybody else looks at things. And this is what I was going to say. This lady wrote into my Facebook. I've had to subsequently block her. Happily retired, living in Weimar, Saskatchewan. I can't remember her name now because I blocked her. But she's like, your show's so horrible. I watch it every day just because it's so horrible, and I laugh. And why are you wearing Rough Rider gear? They fired you. They humiliated you. Why would you even wear it? And I'm like, all of those things are true, but I'm over it. And if I sat here and bitched about them and said I don't want them to win, it would be, oh, get over it. It's just sour grapes. You got fired. It's sour. Like, you literally can't win.
Did she sell cars?
So I had to block her. I have literally no idea. Producer Corey just laughed in my ear. He thought it was funny. But it's like, I'm looking ahead, not back, lady, and to anybody else. So I guess maybe everybody's pissed off, but I don't hang on to shit. That's why I'm so happy with where things are at. But I think Fajardo's over the Rider thing, and with Maas, I'll tell you what, if he's spending a second thinking about being fired by the Riders, he's spending it on the wrong thing. And that's not what Jason Maas is about.
Well, I think the fact that both of those guys have won a title now basically extinguishes that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the one thing the Riders won't. Corey Mace wasn't around for that. Mark Mueller wasn't around for that. Trevor Harris wasn't even around for that. But there are certain people, obviously, behind closed doors with the Rough Riders that are just, oh my God, crossing every finger, every toe, rubbing the rabbit's foot that they're going to win for the Vindicate, because it's been a very long drought. But I don't need to name them because the people that know, and those that don't know, don't need to know.
I hear you.
I'll be happy for Corey Mace if they win. I'll be happy for Trevor Harris if they win. I'll be happy for Mark Mueller if they win. Last words, Mitch. I'll save the viewer comments for after you're gone into the next segment here. I guess this is it for the week. So, yeah. You want to make a Grey Cup prediction?
Yeah, as I said, I think that I'm going to take Montreal to cover the 3.5-point spread. I think the Riders will win the game outright. It will be under. I'm expecting probably 25-20, 25-22, somewhere in there. I think the first team to 24 wins the football game.
All right. A low-scoring Grey Cup, says Scruffy. Well, the Grey Cup in Edmonton in 2010 between Sask and Montreal was 20-18. And what was the score of the Grey Cup in 2009? My God, I've fried it from my memory, but I think it was.
I don't want to remember.
No, I don't. My memory's blocked it. Okay, Scruffy, you have
I'll
dropped
just
your
wait
hot
for
takes.
TSN to do their
You've
top
done.
10 Grey Cups again and then go, oh, yeah, that was the score. Great, thanks.
I'm
bye.
glad I don't have to see that all week. I'm glad there'd be a lot of people getting triggered this week.
I hate
Thanks,
it when
Mitchell.
that show comes on because it finishes with Ridgway's field goal, but we've got Gabriel's catch, the
Oh my God.
13th
I
man. It's
know.
like enough.
Mitchell! See you later. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Asking you today, does your message stand out? At Outlaw Communications, we make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise, from media training and leadership coaching to strategic crisis planning and compelling content. He'll help you lead with confidence. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. Oh boy, it's only Tuesday. It feels like it's been a long week. It's going to be a fun one as we talk sports every day, and frankly, for our Canadian viewers that are football fans, work our way towards the 112th Grey Cup on Sunday. No, I'm not going, as I have people continuing to write me here on social media. No, I'm announcing for the Chiefs this weekend. I'm excited about that. I have stuff to do. Coming back up to Canada in 17 days. Yeah, 17 days. So we'll see you then. There are things besides the Grey Cup going on. So before we jump back into your comments, the sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone. Your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. 6 of Canada's NHL teams are on the ice tonight with 9 games on tap. First up, the Montreal Canadiens host Los Angeles in a rematch of the 1993 Stanley Cup Final. Is that a rematch, Scrippy? The Ottawa Senators entertain Dallas. The Maple Leafs visit Boston. Later on, the Calgary Flames are at St. Louis, and the Vancouver Canucks welcome the Winnipeg Jets in the late game. Major League Baseball says it's authorized gaming operators to cap bets on individual pitches at $200 and exclude them from parlays. A day after 2 Cleveland Guardians players were indicted and accused of rigging pitches at the behest of gamblers. Hang on, we have comments from the viewers on that. And Brandon Ingram and the Toronto Raptors are in Brooklyn tonight. Toronto 5-5 to start the season. The lowly Nets 1-9. That is the sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Listen, it's just, I'm a bleeding heart. I have a big heart. So I'm the second chance guy. So I was saying to Mitch, isn't this a little harsh? One strike and you're done. Paul writes in from Winnipeg. 902-518-3033 is the text line. He says, Rod, Pete Rose was the poster boy for all gambling scandals going on in perpetuity. Throw the book at them. Whew. God help you. Hopefully you don't ever screw up, Paul. Whatever. They've clearly made their decision. They're not going back on this. Look at Randy Ambrosie, former CFL commissioner. Wouldn't want to piss that guy off. Ban Sean Lemon forever. And that poor Arlen Bruce IV, he got caught gambling at Iowa on the NCAA, and Ambrosie wouldn't let him into the CFL. Oh, my God. I'll be thinking all afternoon about what Mitch said about this being a revenge game for the 09-10 Grey Cup. And, believe me, I'm spending a lot of money on professional help, getting over things, all kinds of things. And, yeah, I was attached to the team. I was attached to the players probably too much. But, again, if we were to bring in Kevin the Medium to speak to Ken Miller, and trust me, we could do it. Hey, Kenny, if the Riders win on Sunday against Montreal, is it going to make you feel better? No. Yeah, of course not. Why do we even ask? Why do we go through? No, this is not in any way revenge. It was like saying, had the Blue Jays won the World Series against the Dodgers in Game 7, would it make John Gibbons and Jose Bautista feel better for the Troy Tulowitzki and the bringer of rain, Josh Don? No, it's a different team. The more I think about it, the less that makes any sense at all. Corey, by the way, producer Corey, I've been thinking a lot about what you said yesterday. Listening to what I was listening to in the house here. You need to vanquish your darkness. Remember what you heard? Oh, yeah. He might not even be listening, and that's probably a good thing. Wayne in BC writes in. He says, hey, Rod, you're correct about getting over stuff. As I've gotten older, I've tried to not carry grudges. I'm not always successful, but at least I try. I'll be honest. I mean, there's a lot of memories coming up for me, good and bad this week, with the Rough Riders being in the Grey Cup. And the good ones, I think about Jim Hobson, our former president, who we went to 4 Grey Cups on his watch. And on his deathbed, of the many things that he told me, one was toughest battle he ever had was getting over stuff. And the wrongs that were committed against him. I don't want that. I don't want that to be me. So I'm over it. John in Rosetown writes in. He says, the Grey Cup will be a battle of defense. Thorpe versus Mace. Should be a classic. That's Noel Thorpe of the Montreal Alouettes, Corey Mace of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. So, yeah. There's a lot of great levels of this game. 902-518-3033 is the text line here. I'm going to go back way up through the YouTube chat here from the viewers, because when it's not with a co-host, it's me and you, which will be the case tomorrow in hour one, just so you know, prepping. If you hate me like the lady from Weimark that tunes in every day because the show's so horrible, just so you know, lady, I get paid by the more viewers, so you're actually making me more money, so thank you. But anyways, Scruffy had said earlier about the Cleveland Browns and how they should be in the conversation for the greatest fan base ever and in sports. And it's, again, I said, it's a subjective conversation. We could talk about this forever. There's no handbook on this. And why am I bringing it up? Mike Florio this morning on Pro Football Talk, NBC Sports Radio, saying that the Packer fans never booed their team last night despite not scoring a touchdown at home, losing again at home, and how they never boo their team in Green Bay, where it happens all the time and most everywhere else. And I thought, well, what is the best fan base? Even though somebody looked up that the Montreal Canadiens fans did it a few years ago, they don't do it very often. To me, the Montreal Canadiens have the best fan base in the NHL. Bienvenue. I said, so Montreal in the NHL, Green Bay in the NFL. If that's okay, I mean, I spent 30 seconds thinking about this. New York Yankees in Major League Baseball, and I put other on the poll with a little watermelon beside it. Wink, wink. Is Rider fans in that conversation? And leading the way is other, because number one, all fans think they are the best fans of their team. Pretty much everybody thinks that. God knows Rider fans do. Anyways, Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes in and says, amen, Scruffy, amen, about how Cleveland should be considered for having the best fan base. Sure. I mean, well, how about us Dallas Cowboys fans? Yeah, we've won 5 Super Bowls, but look what they're putting us through now. The concept of detachment has helped me a lot. I don't get upset when the Cowboys lose. Last I looked, they're 3-5-1, and out of a playoff spot, which, as are the Minnesota Vikings. And Dave Petrishen, the sports doctor, will be joining us next hour from Winnipeg. He's already been in the Grey Cup revelry. Dave Petrishen, the sports doctor, will be with us. He can talk about, obviously, CFL. He can talk NFL as a Minnesota Vikings season ticket holder. And obviously, he lives in Winnipeg where the Jets are number one. Is Grey Cup week being in Winnipeg helping Jets fans deal with the fact that they've lost 3 in a row? Just asking. I'm just asking. And by the way, if we are saying aggrieved fan bases because your team's never won, how about Jets fans? How about Canucks fans? Yeah, I get it. I get it, Tony and everybody else. The Cleveland Browns are never a contender, never will be a contender. You all know that, and you stick with them. That's very admirable. I wouldn't do it, but that's just me. The Bomb writes in, says the Alouettes celebrated like crazy winning the East Final. That tells me the Riders will win on Sunday. They're all business. Yeah, maybe it looked like they were celebrating pretty lustily. It's a different time. Did you see the Dolphins after they won on Sunday against the Bills? They're still showing highlights of the Miami Dolphins celebration in their locker room, which, interestingly enough, for anybody that cares, I was driving to the gym this morning, listening to the radio, getting a real bang out of this. Well, 2 things. Number one, I'm like, where's Joe Rose? Why is Joe not on WQAM? I'm like, oh, Dolphins are going over to Berlin or wherever they're playing. Dublin? I can't. Spain. That's where they're. Spain. The NFL is going to Spain for the first time ever. So that's why Joe Rose wasn't on. So they had a bunch of Rudy Poo guys on there that I didn't know who they were, but they were all complaining about the cold. 8 degrees Celsius this morning here in South Florida, and everybody's talking about they're going to die and call in the National Guard. The guys were actually having fun with it. They're like, we actually put on sweats this morning and our warm stuff to go to work. 8 degrees Celsius, and I said to the boys at the gym, I'm like, how many days a year will we have like this? They're like, half a dozen maybe. This cold. Can you imagine? John Ohm writes in, he says, shout out to my buddy Gord. He drove a friend to Winnipeg from Minneapolis, turned around, drove home 15 hours so his friend could get to his dying mom of 97 years old. But, well, you wouldn't want to miss that. That is a great story. Shout out to Gord. Oh, Robin writes in from PA with a dirty shot. How about the fans of the Saskatoon Blades? 0 cup wins. LOL. Ha ha ha. No cup wins, no WHL championship wins. Trust me, I'm well aware, Robin. As the PA Raiders are rolling. Winners of the 1985 Memorial Cup. Colin in Ottawa says, I have a lot of respect for Ambrosie for facing the fans at the annual Q&A with the CFL commissioner at each Grey Cup. Commissioner Stuart Johnson should do the same because of the massive rule changes. Yeah, well, he's not. So, bye, Tony. Lest we forget, thanks for doing that, everybody. Stop and observe at the top of the hour, and we will be back with Dave, the sports doctor, Petrishen, coming up, talking NFL, CFL, NHL, a little baseball. That's what we do. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. November 11th. Yeah, we're on the air. Doesn't mean we can't stop and observe. Veterans Day in the USA. Remembrance Day in Canada. Thank you to all who fight for our freedom, have fought for our freedom. Servicemen and women, thank you for all you do. We're ready to talk some sports over the next hour. And coming up on the program today, our good friend, the sports doctor, Dave Petrishen. How would we introduce Dave? We're going to in about 18 minutes' time. Minnesota Vikings season ticket holder, reporter, radio guy, pro wrestling aficionado and announcer, Winnipeg Blue Bombers season ticket holder, and he is at Grey Cup festivities in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which as we go to air here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, we're going to change up our quick six show topics here from what they were 1 hour ago. We're still on Game Plus TV as well. We're just shaking it up. People are telling me the show's got some sizzle right now. Yeah, I think I know why that is. We gave it a shot in the arm. So, and also Dave being from Winnipeg can talk about the Winnipeg Jets who are in action tonight in one of 9 NHL games. But let's stop talking about it. Let's get into the quick six show topics, everybody. Number one, we're opening with the National Hockey League from Monday night. Brad Marchand had a goal in the helper. And the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers went into Vegas and beat the Golden Knights 3-2 in the Fortress. Thomas Hertl and Ivan Barbashev scored for the Golden Knights, who have lost 3 in a row now. That was a game that our viewers voted the game of the night. That included both Canadian and American viewers. It was a big game in the Fortress. And, yeah, I caught the start of it. It looked like the Panthers were on. Sergei Bobrovsky, the best goalie in the world, was on. And, yeah, we all are aware that the Golden Knights are dealing with some injuries. But guess what? So are the Panthers with their captain Alexander Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk both out long-term. 3-2, the Panthers won. I live in South Florida. I host the Panthers show and Lightning show. Follow the Panthers quite closely and to a little lesser extent than Lightning. What I will say about the Panthers is that when their backs are against the wall, they come out swinging. And that was kind of the case Monday night. It was the end of the road trip. They haven't played well. And Coach Paul Maurice was very happy with them. I mentioned his team's play. I mentioned Brad Marchand, 37 years of age, y'all, has scored in 5 consecutive games. He's the oldest Panther at age 37 to do that, to score 5 in a row. As general manager Bill Zito said here, doesn't it feel like he's been here forever? And he says that in the most positive way possible. Yeah, he's 2 points away from 1,000 as the Panthers come home now, and they get set to open a homestand Thursday night against Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. Yeah, I'm tickled pink that the Panthers are coming home, and then we got the chance to watch Brad Marchand hit 1,000 points live. I did watch, because we are on Nevada television. I shouldn't say watch. I listened to the comments from Bruce Cassidy after the game, the head coach of the Golden Knights. This was on NHL radio this morning when I was out for a run. And I wrote down, he said that it's hard, if not impossible, I'm paraphrasing, to play 3 consistent periods. He was like, Florida didn't. They got an opportunity in the third period and capitalized. And I kind of thought, ooh, Bruce is a little pissy. But they just lost 3 in a row. And I'm like, well, he's talking to the Vegas media, which is a lot different than the Canadian media. But 3 in a row, 3 losses in a row is still 3 losses in a row. Vegas will figure it out. Florida will figure it out. I know that the Panthers are the 3rd oldest team in the NHL. I don't know where Vegas is on that scale. But, again, it's hard to get guys that have been to the dance to show up this early in the season. I know it's, to quote the Yogi Berra line, it's getting a little late to say it's early, but it's still early. Elsewhere around the NHL, here's another one. Jack Roslovic scored 56 seconds into overtime to lead the Edmonton Oilers to a 5-4 comeback victory over the visiting Columbus Blue Jackets Monday night. Connor McDavid and Jake Wallman each scored twice for the Oilers, who trailed 3-1 and 4-2 during the NHL contest. And here's the thing. I not only do I love Oiler fans, I used to be one. Grew up an Oiler fan. So I do get them. But it's like after the 9-1 loss Saturday night to Colorado, tying the worst home loss in Oilers history, and everybody's calling for heads and everybody's mad, and then turn around and they win. They beat Columbus, who appears to be a good team. It's like throwing a wailing kid, an iPad. Here, play on that. Or throwing them a sucker. They're good until they're bored of that. You know what I mean? But and it's not just Oilers fans. Every team's fans are like that, just some more than others. It's like here in Miami where the Dolphins are, 2-7 now? Whatever the hell they are, maybe 3, and it doesn't matter. Couple of wins, just keep them happy for a little while until they're pissed off again. And by the way, is it breaking rumors, which is a 2025 sports term now. Frank Cervelli, the baby-faced assassin from Daily Faceoff, is reporting the Montreal Canadiens and Calgary Flames are nearing a deal to get Nazem Kadri to Montreal from Calgary as you're looking at it. And it's like, oh my goodness. Here on Remembrance Day in Canada, Veterans Day in the U.S., the Flames are already starting the fire sale. Oh mon Dieu. There are 9 games in the NHL tonight, including 3 in Canada. The Winnipeg Jets, losers of 3 straight, visit the Vancouver Canucks. The Ottawa Senators, with 2 wins in a row, host the Dallas Stars. And the Los Angeles Kings visit the Montreal Canadiens in a rematch of the 1993 Stanley Cup Final. Habs 5-1-1 at home. And I'll say elsewhere, the Leafs visit the Bruins, who have won 6 in a row. And the Blues welcome, I hate to say it, but the lowly Calgary Flames. This is all going to roll into one. Speaking of fans, do got to mention that our CFL and NFL picks are brought to you daily by Pump Jacks, or weekly, I guess, Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Moving on in our quick 6 show topics, Monday Night Football, Jalen Hurts threw a 36-yard pass to Devonta Smith for Philadelphia's only touchdown as the Eagles' defense led the way to a 10-7 victory over the Packers in Green Bay on Monday Night Football. Brandon McManus's attempt at a game-tying 64-yard field goal as time expired fell several yards short. Green Bay's second straight loss dropped the Packers to 3rd in the NFC North. And we'll be getting into this with the Sports Doctor next segment. Follows the Minnesota Vikings, is a season ticket holder there. But as Mike Florio was talking about this morning on NBC Sports Radio, and I love listening to him so much, he was bringing up the fact that the Packers fans never booed, despite it being their second straight home loss, not scoring a touchdown at home. And it's just the way people are. There's not anything I can say sitting here yakking it up on the old yak box every day that's going to change people. I saw a meme the other day. How do you change people? You can't. So if you want to get freaked out, go ahead. But in Green Bay, they're not. As Florio pointed out, they didn't boo their team. And it got me thinking, they boo the Dolphins here all the time. I've heard them boo the Panthers. And I'm just thinking about all the teams where the fan bases, it's not a shock when they boo their team. It happens a lot, but apparently it didn't happen in Green Bay. What I'm getting at as I'm landing the plane, the poll question today here for EMJ Marketing is, who has the best fan base in sports? Let's settle it today. I say that tongue in cheek. We'll never settle it. Not today, not ever. But if Green Bay never boos their team, what others don't? In Montreal, I guess they did it a few years ago, but it's very, very rare. And they sure the hell aren't throwing jerseys on the ice and doing the things that they do in Toronto and Edmonton. Very passionate fan bases, no doubt. But I don't put them in the echelon of the Montreal Canadiens fan base, which I have so much respect for, which I say I was one of them too until about 1978 when my dad said you're not allowed to cheer for them anymore for his own reasons. So I became an Oilers fan, blah, blah, blah. But I get the Habs fans. I respect the Habs fans. I love the Habs fans. I wish I could talk more about the Habs here, but we got to talk about every team and every league. So we got Montreal for the NHL, Green Bay for the NFL, if that's even right. Then I thought about baseball. Yeah, I work in NCAA baseball. It's not pro baseball, and I'm not a baseball guy, but I follow it. I'm like, what's the most passionate baseball fan base? Because I'm not a baseball guy, I'll just throw out the Yankees. They've won the most World Series. Their fans demand a pennant every year. They kind of demand a World Series every year, and if there's not, heads should roll. So I got the Packers, the Habs, the Yankees, or other. And the team for which I worked for so long, the Rough Riders, their fans feel, because they've been told, that they're the greatest fans in the world. They believe it. So of the 4 options, Packers, Habs, Yankees, or other, who has the best fans? Others leading, I'll just tell you. Other is leading with 50% of the vote. I haven't looked lately, like within the last, since we've been on the air, the last 9 minutes as of that. But, you know, we do have an hour ahead of this on the air on the Game Plus TV network. And my co-host, Scruffy, brought up the Cleveland Browns. How fitting that it looks like I'm wearing a Browns top today. He said, what about Browns fans? They've been awful forever, will be awful forever, probably have the worst owners in the NFL, which is a tie between them and the Jets, but at least the Jets have won a Super Bowl. Look at Cleveland fans. They pack that place, the dog pound every game, and their team sucks. And if they booed their team, nobody would have a problem with it. We get it. It's a fun topic. 902-518-3033 is the line to text into the program. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. Moving along, as you know, we are very much affectionate of the Canadian Football League. The Grey Cup, which is over my shoulder every single day, on this shoulder over here. Grey Cup festivities, the 112th Grey Cup, will be played this Sunday in Winnipeg, and the Grey Cup week festivities are well underway. Players and coaches from the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Montreal Alouettes meeting with the media today at the CFL Championship and Festival. The West Division champion Roughriders of Saskatchewan will play the East Division champion Montreal Alouettes in Sunday's 112th Grey Cup at Princess Auto Stadium in the Manitoba capital. We're going to be going to Winnipeg in the next segment. For the umpteenth time today, and I'll be saying it many times throughout the week, no, we're not going to Grey Cup this year for a variety of reasons, probably not the least of which is that I have duties here in Florida that I need to attend to this weekend. And also, it's not an anti-CFL thing. It's not an anti-Winnipeg thing. And it sure the hell ain't an anti-Canada thing, because I'm going to Canada at the end of the month for business up there. Just not this week. But Dave, the sports doctor, Petrishen, will help us out and give us the Grey Cup vibe when he joins us next. They've started the parties early, and it's interesting, spending more time in this than I thought that I would. But it's like Super Bowl light. I've been to both, so I can now compare the two. Used to always, if you got into Grey Cup week in Canada on the Wednesday, it was hella early. I always did, because if I wasn't with our team being in the Grey Cup, which we played in 4, I was going there to do my show, and nobody was there on Wednesday. If you get to Friday, get there on Friday, you're good. You're not going to miss anything. But then I end up going to the Super Bowl. I think I showed up on Wednesday to the first one I went to, and people are like, what a loser. This starts Monday, bro. Oh. Okay, well, that's this. Everything's bigger. It's the NFL. Super Bowl. And now the Canadian Football League is moving everything up. It didn't start, well, the teams got there Monday. I feel like if you could probably find a party tonight on a Tuesday, if you really wanted to. Actually, Dave was at an event Monday. So he will join us next, the sports doctor, and can confirm or deny that the Grey Cup is becoming a far bigger thing. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I'm sure the hell not going to be partying, and nobody had more fun. I've been to like 22 or 23 of them. Maybe that's why I'm also not dying to go. The whole deal, the da-da-da-da, I know. Program brought to you by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. They watch us every day in the lobby. They have us on. Hi, Kirby. Point 4, the Quick Six show topics. The Raptors of the NBA are our NBA team. The 5-5 Toronto Raptors will be looking to win their 4th road game of the young NBA season when they visit the lowly Brooklyn Nets tonight. Raps coming off a 130-120 loss to the 76ers in Philadelphia on Saturday, while the Nets, who are 1-9, lost Sunday to the host New York Knickerbockers. But I feel like it's way, way too early to be talking about the NBA, but we're throwing it in there. Jeff writes in, he says, hey, any updates on Bo Bichette? None today, Jeff. None today. Now, John Schneider will find out tonight if he is the American League Manager of the Year. But we have until November. We have a week before Bo Bichette needs to make his decision on accepting the offer from the Blue Jays. Nothing today. But thank you for asking, Jeff, in the zone. John Ohm is watching in Winnipeg regarding the fan base. He says the Dallas Cowboys fans are pretty passionate. A-Rod? Dallas Cowboys fans are brainwashed and borderline delusional. And I have no problem saying that because I am one. And we did cover this early. They're 3-5-1. Are we a contender? Bro, you're not even going to make the playoffs. You're delusional. But they're brainwashed. So, yeah, passionate, but they're not in the list of the best fan. They're not. And I'm in it. When we come back, the sports doctor, Dave Petrishen, to talk NFL, NHL, and, of course, the 112th Grey Cup as we go live to Winnipeg. You're watching the RP Show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show brought to you in part by Cool Bet. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with a promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. Canadian viewers only. There's a Canadian viewer, our good friend Dave Petrishen, but a Minnesota Vikings season ticket holder. Hey, Sports Doc. Happy Grey Cup week, brother. How you doing? Your mic is off. Your mic is off. Can you fix your mic? He is looking at it. Boom. Give us a test, Dave. Test 1, 2. You guys were talking earlier, producer Corey, or were you telling me? Okay, he said it was working perfectly during the break, Dave. Oh, this could be a long 20 minutes if we don't get his microphone situation figured out. What should I do, Corey? You tell me. Okay. Do you need his phone number? Because I can send it to you. David, we will get this sorted out. Hang on. While we're doing this, I can dabble in a sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone. And sorry for tap dancing in front of you all, but I need to send this to producer Corey, the phone number for the sports doctor, Dave Petrishen. It's the realest show on television. Well, you're getting it all. You're getting it real. That's the one thing. How do you like us so far? There, you're getting Dave's number. You guys sort it out. I can do it right now. The sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone. We'll probably, and hopefully, get interrupted in the middle of this. But Major League Baseball and its affiliated sports books offered a fast reaction Monday to the latest
I can hear you.
growing list of sports betting. Hey, we got you, Dave. We have you. I don't know what the hell you did. What'd you do? I knew we'd get interrupted, but that's a good thing. What'd you do?
I just switched to my iPhone from my Mac. So,
which I asked you to log in from your iPhone, but that's okay. I got you now. You were at a Grey Cup party Monday night. Is that revelry starting early, Dave, or was that just a bunch of football guys getting together on a Monday night at Grey Cup?
no, Coors Light in the city has designated a passport program, and I'm sorry, I'm getting directions in my ear. Here we go. How's this? Better?
Just let him go, Corey, please. Just go
There
ahead,
we go.
Dave.
We're gonna have to hold
Yeah, you're
this.
good.
I was going to say, Coors Light has a passport program in a lot of the saloons in town. So Chris Walby was hosting a Monday Night Football party, joined by legendary punter Bob Cameron and legendary sportscaster Joe Pascucci and Peter Young, and it was a great time down at the Pony Corral on Narren Avenue.
Okay, well, that's the thing. I saw your social media. I mean, for those, again, the 112th Grey Cup, the Canadian Football League Championship, Canada's Super Bowl is being held this week in Winnipeg. That's where Dave is at. It just feels to me like festivities have started early. We've been to many of these. I think 22 or 23 for me. How many for you? How many Grey Cups have you been at, Dave?
You know, I know you're going to ask me that question. My first one was 1991, and then I took a break until 95 in Regina, the first one. And then basically from about 1999 on to about 2011, 2012, it was straight through. Took a little bit of a break. Did 2011, did 2000, the 100th Grey Cup in Toronto, and then kind of been back on track since 2019. I've got the 2019 sweatshirt that we did in Calgary. That was the Grey Cup that the Bombers ended the drought. And it's been pretty much smooth sailing. There's been Hamilton in there. There's been another Saskatchewan one in there. And, of course, everybody's looking forward to this one this week in Winnipeg.
So do you have a number? How many actually Grey Cups it is? Have you added it up, or you would just throw me in? Guess, for God's sakes.
I would guess 22.
Oh, okay, so you're right about the same as me. Were you in Vancouver last year, did you say?
I did not go to Vancouver last year. No, I did not.
Okay, well, because the reason I asked was the owners of the BC Lions and their top people went to the Las Vegas Super Bowl, and they basically wrote down everything that they saw, took it to Vancouver, and it worked. I was at both, and I can confirm that that's what they did. It was the most financially successful Grey Cup ever, and sold out BC Place, and it was awesome. Do you think there's a chance that this year's Grey Cup will be the best ever in Winnipeg? And if so, what do they need to do to make that happen?
Well, you know, it was the Grey Cups in Winnipeg have always been great. Let me just tell you that. And I think the best Grey Cups are in Winnipeg and in Regina. I can't compare. I knew the British Columbia one. There's a lot of rave reviews, but this, like the events, like you said, the passport program started yesterday. Thursday things get into really full swing. With the party rooms, with the there's a VIP touchdown Manitoba that goes on Thursday. There's I think that's the player awards, then the Legends luncheon, and touchdown Manitoba, the party rooms, and they've really interacted with a lot of venues downtown, family events at the University of Winnipeg. Every place has got. With some of the sponsors, everything's got a sign up. So this is going to be exciting. It's a weird time in the CFL with people still kind of being eminent about the rule changes that are coming up. You're disappointed because 2019 started the Bomber dynasty and the Blue Bombers aren't in it. Our arch rival Saskatchewan Roughriders are in it, which back in a few years ago when we played the Toronto Argonauts in Regina, the Bombers got booed out of the building by the fans. So I think there's going to be a bit of a revenge there. But Saskatchewan really brings a party. And I know that ever since the victory on Saturday, my DMs and my texts and my emails have been blowing up with people coming to Saskatchewan going, I don't have a party pass. Where can I book a venue? So I've been kind of like party coordinator for a few guys, trying to hook them up with local places. So in a runaround answer, this will be an epic Grey Cup because of the guests are going to arrive from Saskatchewan and just the spirit. I mean, we're a team that sells out every home game. So the CFL spirit is alive in Winnipeg, and I know anyone that goes to a Blue Bomber game doesn't want to miss a CFL Grey Cup party.
So Dave Petrishen is with us, the sports doctor from Winnipeg, this night of the 112th Grey Cup. The only reason I'm reintroducing you, Dave, because you've been on our show many times, and we've been on 1,615 episodes now. As you know, we're now on across the state of Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Group, and we usually keep our topics on this program when we air on Silver State to U.S. But you know what? It is the Grey Cup. It's the Canadian Football League Championship, and I know that they love the CFL in Nevada for a variety of reasons. They've had teams in the CFL. A ton of players from there have gone on to the CFL. So that's why I'm spending the time on it here right now. But you're also the Guy Fieri lookalike. He's got a huge restaurant on the Vegas Strip. When's the last time you were in Vegas, and were you confused for Guy Fieri?
I haven't been confused in Vegas because there's a lot of guys that look like Guy Fieri in Vegas. But I get the similarity. I get that. Now, last time I was there was January of 2024, and just prior to the Super Bowl there. So it was a really exciting time. But I was just we were talking about Las Vegas, and that is just an unbelievable city. And I just can't wait to go again. If there's any place that, I was just in Orlando a couple of weeks ago, and Orlando on an international drive does have a Vegas feel. That's for sure. Without the casino and without people walking around with brown bags drinking, but it's got that Vegas vibe in Orlando too.
Well, we certainly cannot. We certainly can't complain. We have to be very grateful with the welcome that we received from the Las Vegas and Nevada viewers here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. But back to the Grey Cup in Winnipeg. Your team will not be in it. I'm sure you were hoping they would. But with a fourth place finish for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, it would have been tough. You've had some time to reconcile with the fact your team's not going to be in it. But they've been in the last 5. So I think the reasonable question, Dave, is this a blip, or is the party over for the Blue?
Well, we're going to see this off season as the reports that the Toronto Argonauts have been granted permission to talk to Mike O'Shea. That's going to be interesting time in the next little while. See, if that's going to play out. So, when if you lose a head coach, it's generally a rebuilding year. And when all your systems have to be started from scratch. But just one more thing on the Las Vegas thing. You talked about Vegas and you talked about the CFL legacy. I actually attended a game in 1994 in Las Vegas when the Winnipeg Blue Bombers played the Posse.
Yeah. The CFL's legacy with Vegas is pretty cool and a fun story. And I would love to hear your story on that. But because you're going to be an objective viewer, a nonpartisan viewer for the Grey Cup on Sunday, what's your take on the game, Saskatchewan versus Montreal?
both teams are very, very strong. The kid in Montreal hasn't lost a game he's starting, so yeah, you can't really rule him out. Saskatchewan has been so successful under Coach Mace and really dominated the league. They were the class of the league all season long. So if anything, this is going to be a top tier matchup. You can't like either team. This is one. This is the one that's going to be all eyes are going to be on Corey Mace. Can he take that next step? Can he win the championship for his team in Saskatchewan? Much to the chagrin of anybody in Winnipeg, that's for sure.
We'll come back. A lot of comments from the viewers here. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the best Grey Cups in terms of grassroots socializing might be in Regina and Winnipeg, but in terms of notable corporate events, it needs to be in bigger markets. Topic for another time. And we'll come back on any Grey Cup related questions. But with your Vikings, I looked it up this morning. I should have known, but they're not in a playoff spot as we sit here today. It feels like the season's taken on been 2 years long for the Vikings, Dave. Where are you on the purple right now?
It hasn't been a very good season. That loss to Baltimore, you can't ever rule out Baltimore because the Baltimore's always a strong team. But the Vikings, with the penalties and the lack of offense, did not look good at home after coming off a big victory on the road against the Detroit Lions. Now we've got the Chicago Bears this Sunday. The weekend after that, it's the Green Bay Packers. The weekend after that, it's Seattle. And then it's the Washington Commanders. So the schedule doesn't get any easier for the Vikings. And I think it might be at 3-5 right now. I think it might be too late to right the ship.
Laverne writes in, he says, can you believe the Bears are in first place at 6-3 and Dave's Vikings are 4-5? Don't ask me. How about you, Dave? I mean, the Bears. There's the poster team for changing coaches. I mean, I didn't think it was going to work. Is this for real? Are the Bears for real?
It's been such bad football in Chicago for such a long time. And, you get a little traction now with a little bit of stability in the team, and you can see what can happen. And I think they are for real. I mean, who thought that the Green Bay Packers would lose the last 2 games at home? I know you talked about that in the last segment, and the great fan base there, and did not look good last night. Again, the defending Super Bowl champions, you can't take anything away from them, but just there was no spark from pretty much either team, at least in the first half from those, and then Philadelphia pulls away with the victory.
Well, when I say that this season feels like 2 years long for the Vikings, and I'm not even a Vikings fan, but you had the ups and the downs with J.J. McCarthy. Call me, if I recall, you are a McCarthy backer, a McCarthy fan, but then he gets hurt, right? So it's hard to judge this team. Where are you on J.J. McCarthy now?
The kid has natural talent, but I just think the seasoning's not there. I think he's making bad decisions. I think the team's not helping him out. When you see the penalties that they took Sunday against Baltimore, that's a leadership thing. A quarterback, a leader would have straightened that team out. All the false starts that they took, that's leadership. And that starts with your quarterback. That starts with J.J. McCarthy, and he's not showing leadership right now.
Oh, I love him because I love his personal story. I love his personal championship with Michigan. You're right. I mean, on one hand, I say he's young, but then I look at all the young quarterbacks leading teams in the NFL, most notably Caleb Williams in Chicago, the aforementioned Caleb Williams. There's a lot of young quarterbacks doing great things. How patient will the fan base be with J.J. McCarthy?
I don't know. I mean, that's the tough one because the Minnesota Vikings have been shown just to switch quarterbacks and go with the guy they believe in. So look at what Sam Darnold did last week, and then where Seattle is right now. That's the guy they should have stuck with. They should have put JJ behind him for another season and watched him develop. Watch from the bench. And you could have seen some success start to build and maybe even some confidence build in JJ. But that's the Vikings have just been weird with that quarterback situation in the last few years, ever since ever since Brett Favre, actually.
Wonderful update on the Minnesota Vikings. And let me wind this up on the Jets, who are at Vancouver tonight. They've lost 3 in a row. Has the Grey Cup in Winnipeg shrouded that at all or covered it, or you know what I'm saying? Like distracted the fans in Winnipeg, or is that even possible that the team's lost 3 in a row?
Yeah, it's funny because usually when you like I've always said this before, and I've said this on your show, we're a plan the parade or burn the building kind of a city, and there hasn't been a lot of screaming after the kind of a lack of offense in the last few games against the when the Winnipeg Jets on the road. Maybe because the games are on locally at like 9 and 9:30. Maybe people aren't watching as passionately because they're falling asleep and getting ready for the Grey Cup. But well, time will tell. Like when we get back on Canadian soil, you got a little bit of earlier start for us tonight. I mean, it's still 9 o'clock, but it's a weekday. Kind of people haven't worked all day. I think people are going to see what the Winnipeg Jets can do tonight against Vancouver before the panic button gets pressed.
How would you say the Jonathan Toews experiment has gone? I mean, I'm not watching every Jets game, but I see him hitting the score sheet for fulfilling a pretty big role with a hockey team. I'm giving it a check mark unless I've missed something.
Yeah, again, starting the season without Adam Lowry in the lineup, our captain, the man is mature. He's a leader. He adds a different dimension to the bench. He's a real team first kind of a guy. And by the time the second, third, fourth game rolled around, he settled right in. The guy is a master in the face-off circle, and I think he can really add a different dimension to the team. It's interesting that, ever since Adam Lowry returned, we haven't really won a game yet. So we're going to have to figure this out because, what happens if there's 2 alphas in the room? Sometimes something loses. We've seen that before with the likes of Blake Wheeler. But Jonathan Toews is an asset to the city. He's an asset to the Winnipeg Jets, and we can only build on what he can offer for us.
I'll wind this up. Arlen Bruce, watching as he always does. He writes in, he says, shout out to the Golden Gophers, University of Minnesota alum, as is AB. Chief Johnny Moe's watching in Winnipeg. He says, Cole Perfetti's returned to the lineup. Okay, so they're paying attention to what's going on there. But let me wind this up on the Grey Cup in the less than 2 minutes we have. What's your rest? You kind of mentioned it earlier, the Legends Luncheon and stuff, but tell our viewers what you're going to be doing between now and Sunday.
Well, our guests start to arrive in. The CFL legend, Miles Gurrell, arrives in tomorrow. There's going to be just some lighter, different events. There's the Touchdown Manitoba VIP event with the Grey Cup. That's on Thursday. And again, it's going to be just some socializing on that. The Legends Lunch on a Friday afternoon is always a highlight. Then we kind of move down. We switch rooms at the convention center to go to Touchdown Manitoba. Our friend, Dr. Hans, has got to organize the dinner at a local steakhouse on Friday night. And then Saturday, there's the big gala event, the Grey Cup Gala event, which is, almost $400 a ticket. So we can probably spend that better in some local saloon and with our drinks in our own. So a whole bunch of us are going to be getting together at different party rooms on Saturday. And of course, there's a commissioner's brunch, which I got invited to on Sunday, but I can't attend. But then we got the game. We had the
Silver State Sports Entertainment Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world.
This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Hi. Welcome back, everybody. I want to give a special shout out. Somebody just sent me a photo. I don't know if they have the sound up or not, but I want to say hey to Mike and Joe. They're watching us at Famoso Neapolitan Pizzeria in the Queen City. I used to own a Famoso restaurant. They're not in the one that I own, but they're in another one. So hi, Mike and Joe, and thanks for having us on the RP show on your televisions at Famoso Neapolitan Italian Pizzeria. Okay, sports update that we started down the road and then didn't finish. As a sports bettors to purposely throw certain types of pitches that would pay off bets. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was also arrested for allegedly providing inside information to gamblers. Despite these incidents, prop bets remain lucrative for leagues and sports books. So I don't know if Rhonda's still watching today, the nice lady that wrote in yesterday about this, and she was like, how can these young guys be so dumb? And it's the one thing about doing the live. It's a little like open line back in the day. Handling these texts aren't dissimilar. I give you the best answer at the time, but furthermore to what I was saying yesterday, they're young men, A, and B, they don't think that they're going to get caught. They don't. And to use a better example is just simply like I say, when you're speeding, you don't think you're going to get caught. You don't. Bank robbers, which I've never robbed a bank, but by the way, I do know the criminal underworld, just so you know. I know them. I know how they think. They don't think they're going to get caught either. So when you say, how could they be so dumb? You're not wrong. But I'm telling you how they think. And we kind of went down this road a little bit last hour when Scruffy was with us. It's just me. I know I come across as a big bruising bully here every day, but I am a big heart. I'm a second, third, fourth, fifth chance kind of guy because I got him. Now, having said all that, I'm 10 years in recovery. Gambling was never an issue for me. But when sports betting first came out in the 90s, I was betting. I was working in the leagues, and it wasn't illegal then to do that. But I was winning big money, but I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So I stopped. And it's never really been my thing, But not everybody's that way. And my point on all this is, and I appreciate the response from the viewers that we've received in that, I'm like, can we not give them a second chance? The leagues aren't giving them a second chance. These guys are done. Like what is going to happen with Chauncey Billups? I'm afraid for what's going to happen to Chauncey Billups. And that's not even betting on games. Terry Rozier is, or fixing results of games. I know it's confusing for people that don't know betting, but for those, be glad that you don't know, I guess is my point. Because when this stuff happens, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't bet. Athletics slugger Nick Kurtz is a unanimous choice for American League Rookie of the Year, and Atlanta Braves pitcher Drake Baldwin is the winner of the National League honor. Meanwhile, the NFL has seen a surge in international interest with the first batch of tickets for the first regular season game in Spain selling out quickly. Over 700,000 people tried to get tickets to watch the Dolphins play the Commanders next Sunday. This follows high demand for games in other cities like Dublin, or 600,000 devices logged on to buy tickets, which is another thing. You think they can't find you? They can find you. Maybe I'll save those stories for the next segment, overtime, when we come back. And LeBron James will practice with the G League's South Bay Lakers this week as he prepares to begin his unprecedented 23rd NBA season. Lakers coach J.J. Redick revealed the plan for the 40-year-old LeBron James on Monday. The sports update is proudly presented by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Or we don't got to wait until next segment. I can just tell you this. I've had death threats, and I said the next one that happens, we're going to prosecute this son of a bitch with the fullest extent of the law because we can find you. And we did. So that's the whole point. If you think that you're not that smart, whether you're making a threat, placing a bet, blaming somebody else. Oh, somebody had my phone. Right. We haven't heard that one before. We'll be back with overtime right after this. You're watching on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime. Proudly brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Please do me a favor and support our sponsors. It makes things so much easier for us here. Randy and Michelle. Randy, by the way, co-owner of that family-run business, quite liked my comment yesterday about young men do dumb things with regards to the sports betting and stuff. And I think he said that a lot of old men do too. I understand that. I'm just saying by numbers, more young men do. But anyways, Randy, very in tune with what we do. We're very in tune with what they do over there at Overtime Hockey Lane. So the snow is flying. It's hockey season in Canada. Now's the time. Take your team down to Overtime Hockey Lanes, especially if you're going through Calgary on a roadie and you're looking for something to do with your team. Check out Overtime Hockey Lanes and tell them the RP show sent you. So, yeah. Well, Tim writes in from Kansas on the betting thing, and he says, Pete Rose was made eligible for the Hall of Fame an hour after he died. The whole gambling rule enforcement is just random and inconsistent noise. It's not a lot different than NIL and paying out Brian Kelly $50 million, and it's just like the inmates are in charge of the asylum, and it's like there's no plan. We have to trust the leaders, I guess, from Famoso Pizza. We're on the televisions there. Like you would think this would get old. It's not getting old. Thank you for sending the screenshots. Whenever you see us on TV, fire them at us. 902-518-3033. Other is leading the poll with 50%. Who has the best fan base? 58% is voting other. 30% say the Montreal Canadiens. 9% say the Green Bay Packers. And only 2% say the New York Yankees. We're kind of running out of time here, but speaking of betting, what the hell? We make our picks. Do as we say, not as we do. Not putting any money on this, but LA Kings at Montreal Canadiens tonight. 9 NHL games. I'll take Montreal to win this one at home. Washington Capitals at the Carolina Hurricanes. That should be a doozy. I'm definitely taking the Canes, a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas Stars at the Ottawa Senators. The Sens have won 2 in a row. Let's make it 3. Toronto Maple Leafs at the Boston Bruins, a classic original 6 matchup. Bruins are on a run. What have they won? 6 in a row? 7 in a row? They're playing the Leafs. This shouldn't be hard. I'll take Boston. Calgary Flames at the St. Louis Blues. You can call this one the Toilet Bowl. Brought to you by Liquid Plumber. I'll take the Blues. San Jose Sharks at the Minnesota Wild. I feel like the Wild are starting to come around. I'll take Minnesota in this one. The game of the night. Everybody's talking about this one. Battle of division leaders. Central Division, Pacific Division. The Anaheim Ducks at the Colorado Avalanche. I got to go with Colorado. What's Anaheim won? 7 in a row coming in. I think it ends tonight. I guess tonight we'll decide if the Ducks are for real. If they beat Colorado in their house. I don't think it's going to happen. Winnipeg Jets at the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, getting to be some heat on the Jets. Trying to avoid a 4th straight loss. I'll take Winnipeg to win at Vancouver. Sorry, Kevin the Medium. I know that's your team. And the Columbus Blue Jackets at the Seattle Kraken tonight. That's a toughie. Columbus played just last night on the road and lost in overtime. They should be tired. I'll take the Seattle Kraken to win at home. The Saskatchewan Kraken. Those are my picks. What are yours? Play along. We call it sport betting, where we don't put money on it. We just make the picks. It's like sport fishing, where you catch the fish and throw them back. As my friend Chris from the Bronx says, take a picture. Pictures last longer. So, yeah, we got through it. A big thank you to the sports doctor, Dave Petrishen, for checking in from Grey Cup week in Winnipeg. It's a big one. It's a big one. As this week goes along, we'll be spending far more time on football and the Canadian Football League Championship. There's a lot of other things going on. Ron in Calgary writes in and says, hey, Rod, great show. Go Riders. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, man, does time fly by? It's been over 2 months since the RP show returned to Florida. Oh, and it's only November. There may be more 8-degree or colder temps in Florida. It's 8 degrees Celsius here. They're thinking of calling in the National Guard. Scott in Moose Jaw writes in and says, where's DuPont? Scott, I know you can't watch 2 hours a day, but we have addressed this many, many times. Darren announced it on this show. He is the executive producer / content lead with a streaming production company called Home Team. So if you want to know specifically where he is right now, he's flying home from Lake Tahoe, where he was the executive producer of the Grand Slam of Curling event in Lake Tahoe on the weekend, which I watched on my television here on the FanDuel Sports Network. So Darren's doing big things in the television and streaming world, and we're just grateful to have him as much as we can. He's very, very busy. Where's DuPont? Yes, he started this show, but he hasn't been on much. He's moved on to other things. But he's also getting married in Palm Desert, California in a couple weeks' time, and I'll be there for that. Not like it matters. I didn't tell producer Corey this, but we'll be broadcasting live from Palm Desert, California, a couple of Mondays from now. But here we go, one day at a time. So there you go. Corey was in Edmonton yesterday, Lloydminster today. Welcome to broadcasting in 2025. All right, everybody. Thank you to the veterans. Thank you to those servicemen and servicewomen who serve, fight for our freedom every day. You are appreciated. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here on the Silver State Sports Entertainment and, as always, the Game Plus Television Network.
That